Welcome guys to this episode of Mike's RC review, where I'm going to be showcasing something new to you guys. Now this vision is courtesy of Klaus in Germany, I would say. I'm only using this just to tell you guys what is going on and also how it would look. Now you have heard me say in the past that, or in the past couple of videos, that I am looking on buying a new body for my TRX4, and by the looks of this video I think you know where this is going. So without further ado, thank you so much for joining me today on this lazy Sunday afternoon here in Melbourne, Australia, in Victoria actually, because I'm in the country. But thank you for joining me once again, and without further ado, here is the TRAXXAS TRX4 and the new surprise, which is the killer body Land Cruiser LC70, which is officially licensed from Toyota, which means by the looks of the official licensing and also the video that you see there, it will be a very good scale representation of this truck. And I'm not the first person to do an unboxing on this, but from the way I see it, I've looked online and there aren't many here that have actually assembled this on a TRX4 chassis, but the actual killer body that's not designed for the TRX4. Now the reason why I bought this, guys, out of foolishness is because, look, I knew it was not designed for the TRX4. I knew that this was a DIY version, but I also knew that as a modeler that you can make anything fit on anything as long as you get your modeling on. Now those words are obviously they're big words to say, because if it is a flop and if it doesn't work out, it will be a $350 flop. So it's not cheap. It's definitely something that I will be crying over if it doesn't go right. And once I start cutting here, this will not be something that I can return. So before I actually commit to doing this, I am doing as much research as I can. Unfortunately for me, Killer Body in Hong Kong has not been very forthcoming in returning my messages, and they haven't been very quick to return any messages for that matter. I've tried to call them, I've tried to email them, tried to message them, and still no reply after 5 days. So their communication skills are very, very much on the low end, and because this is a review channel, I will review them as a company as much as I will review their products. Now, I love the fact that this is a licensed body, and I love the fact that it is a very scale representation and depiction of the LC70, which is a very, very popular vehicle here in Australia. Okay, in fact, every third vehicle that I see on our roads where I live is either LC70 or LC79, which is the station wagon version, or the LC200, which is the luxury version, which if you're in America, you would know that as the Lexus LX570, which of course has a Toyota variant as well, which is a Toyota Land Cruiser. So we've got them here as well. All of our Land Cruisers, I think ever since 2019, are all powered by a diesel V8. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of a rundown on the vehicle and what it's used for here, what the purposes are for that vehicle here. The majority of people that buy the LC70 in Australia actually use them for either work purposes or towing purposes if they're playing, or they use them as fun vehicles. Now there's 3 to 4 different sorts of buyers for this truck. There is your agricultural buyer, which probably makes up 70 to 60% of the LC70 and 79 buyers. They use them because they have a farm, and they use them because they need a four-wheel drive that they know no matter what they do to it, it will not break, and it will get them out of any muddy situation they get into on their paddocks. So that's your first astute buyer. The second buyer of this vehicle will be your tradespeople, so people who work in the trades. So for example, builders, plumbers, carpenters, those sorts of people that need to tow a very heavy trailer at the back. Bearing in mind this tows 3.5 tons, So in pounds, I think, well, 2,000 pounds is a ton. So 2, 4, 6, so it's around about 6,250 pounds is what this thing will tow. Now, of course, compared to the American trucks out there that can tow up to 12,000 pounds, like your Dodge Laramies and the Rams and your Chevy Silverados and Ford F-150s to 650s, this is piddly stuff. The Land Cruiser obviously is a lot smaller than those trucks, and a lot obviously has less features, but is as if not more capable off-road. The reason I bought this is because I've been in love with Land Cruisers pretty much my whole entire adult life. It's a vehicle that it is on my wish list. There's a lot of people out there, especially my age, that if you ask them what their dream vehicle is, it would be something in the lines of, it's going to be a Lamborghini Aventador or a Ferrari, Ferrari of some sort or a Bentley of some sort. My dream vehicle, and this is God's honest truth, my dream vehicle is a 200 series Land Cruiser. And the reason for that is I want something that if I'm going to spend that much money on, here in Australia they're worth $130,000. In American dollars, that's around about the $90,000 mark. They're not cheap. They are very, very expensive for your everyday working Joe. So they're a vehicle that have to last, and unlike your prestige brands like your Land Rovers, your Range Rovers, your BMWs, and your Mercedes Benzes, which cost, you can get a fairly decent what is it? I think it's a GLS series Mercedes Benz or the X7 BMW products. You can get very good ones for around about the 130, 140, 150 mark. That's the same price, obviously roughly the same price as a 200 series Land Cruiser, but those things in 10 years time will be worth absolutely nothing. If those that view me from Australia, you will know that if you look on car sales today, carsales.com, that a 10 to 15 year old diesel, has to be diesel, but a 10 to 15 year old diesel variant 100 series Land Cruiser, even the 80 series Land Cruisers, can still fetch up to $50,000 to $60,000. Not so long ago, I actually found one on the internet, a 200 series 2012 model Land Cruiser with 350,000 kilometers on the clock, on the odometer, and it was still fetching $65,000. So these things do not drop in value, and the reason for that is because they are so rugged and they do last for a very, very long time. In fact, they will outlast their drivers, given that if you look after them properly. Now, Toyota here in Australia has the biggest dealer network. I am an salesperson for Ford. I also worked for Mitsubishi at one point and also Toyota at one point for a few months. I do know for a fact that Ford and Toyota are probably the biggest dealer networks here in Australia, but a lot of the times if you look at in Australia, if you look at countrysides in Australia, like your country regions in New South Wales, Western Australia, in Victoria, a lot of the people that drive these sorts of vehicles, they all drive Toyotas. So the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado, which is a smaller version of the Land Cruiser, and the Toyota Hilux. Okay, they all drive the Toyotas mainly because they are obviously supported by such a massive dealer network that, if there's ever something that went wrong in the middle of the outback in Alice Springs or in South Australia, the rural parts of South Australia where it's all desert, and Western Australia as well, they know for a fact that there's a Toyota dealership within the next town, basically. So that's the reason why they buy Toyotas here. The mining industry in Australia, here in Western Australia and in Queensland, also rely upon the Toyota brand. Whether they're Hiluxes or the Land Cruisers, there's so many of them. They've been the dominating force of the car sales industry here in Australia for such a long time. Ford have obviously come close to them. If you're aware of the Australian car sales industry, Ford with the Ford Ranger have basically come number one in the ute market or pickup market for a while, then went back to number two. But it's always either Ford or Toyota with regards to these sorts of vehicles. Now, the LC79 series, which is basically the same vehicle as the LC70, is pretty much the same as the Land Rover Defender. It is a station wagon, so it's got the rear doors and it's got a back to it. A lot of people like the versatility of having rear doors, but then they cut the back bit and make it into a pickup, just like the pickup version of this car. So those cars here in the Land Cruiser body actually do exist. So I'm not the first person to unbox the killer body. Back to the show. I'm not the first person to unbox this, so excuse me. So what I've done is already taken everything out of the box. As you guys all have to just type in killer body TRX4 on YouTube and you'll find another person that's actually doing it. There's so many of them now. But what I've done is basically just outline everything that I thought you'd like to know. So the killer body LC70 comes in two versions as far as I'm aware. It comes in the version that is specifically designed for the TRX4 platform, and it comes with a version that's specifically designed for the actual SCX10 and the Enduro as well. And the one I bought had to be that, because there aren't any in stock of the one that is made for TRX4. So me buying the one that's not made for TRX4, I think I will be the first to document that on the internet. So that's why this is a build that I will be taking you guys through, the difficulties, the ups and downs, and also what challenges I've had to face with regards to putting this on my TRX4. Now, it's not an easy thing to do, to switch from the Land Rover body to the Land Cruiser body, because there has to be a few things that have to be taken off for this to actually put into place. So at the moment, while I've only got one platform, one chassis, what I'll be doing is probably rotate them every 2 months. So 2 months I'll have the Land Rover body, and then 2 months I'll have the Land Cruiser body, because in order for me to do that, what I have to do with the chassis to fit the Land Cruiser body on it is I'm going to have to take out these mounting posts. So the front one, the rear one, I'm going to have to relocate my wiring. I'm going to have to relocate the receiver box probably slightly to the left. I'm going to probably have to cut a little bit of the side, and I'm going to have to either adjust or take out my side steps. I know for a fact that my front bumper will work, and my rear bumper will work as well. But apart from that, there has to be a lot of things modified. So I've got to take out the posts, the battery box. They all have to come out. So it's not a hard job. It's not a long job to do that. It'll take probably around about an hour to 2 hours to do it, but you know, you can do it if you want to, but I would prefer to just rotate them. While I've only got one truck, I'd prefer to just rotate them one every 1 or 2 months. So just to give you guys an idea of what's in the actual box, the officially licensed Toyota Land Cruiser from Killer Body, the LC70, meaning it is the single cab pickup. You get the front bit of the vehicle, and upon first inspection it is a very shiny white hard plastic. This is not Lexan, so this is something that is hard and it is heavy. Okay, so one thing I will tell you guys that's for sure is this build will be a simple build. So I'm not going to go all out like this and put everything under the sun on it. This will be basically a very simple build, just like that one there, but it will be in a color of my choice. Okay, now the coloring will be kept a secret. Feel free to comment on what color you think I should put on there, and I will try to follow and see what you guys want. Because on the internet, there's already almost every single color under the Toyota sun. I mean, there's the military olive drab green, and I've seen them in the desert color, the desert sand color. I've seen them in bright orange. I've seen them in bright green. I've seen them in blue. I've seen them in silver. I've seen them in white. Okay, so there's one color there that's missing that I haven't seen yet, and that's the one I'm leaning towards, and that's the one that 99% I will actually do. So until I paint it, guys, that's going to have to be a surprise. But so the front of the body, from the way I look at it, even though this is not the one made for the TRX4, I can see that fitment-wise and measurement-wise, it should fit. Now, I know for a fact that the difference between this and the TRX4 specific LC70 killer body is the length of it. So this in the SCX10 form, which this is 313 millimeters long. Now, my truck is 323 millimeters long. So I'm going to have to adjust the links to move my wheelbase forward a little bit. If I cannot adjust these links, I'm going to have to buy new links for them. For example, the Bronco links or the Blazer links, and then shorten it that way. So that's the first hurdle that I've got to get through. The other hurdle I've got to get through, it says somewhere here, I think in the instructions or in the box, that the overall width of this, there we go. So the width of this is 197 millimeters in width. Okay, now I think the Traxxas TRX4 specific one is around about the 230 millimeter width. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but if I had to guess what that discrepancy or what that difference is in width, it would most likely be the wheel arches. Okay, so there are options to buy wheel arches for this, the bigger ones, and you know, if I had to give you an idea of how they look like, I reckon it would be this, because that there seems to be your difference. That's around about, if I had to guess that, I don't have a ruler, but that's around about the 15 to 20 millimeter mark. Okay, so if you had to imagine that on here, that's probably the difference there, because there's a discrepancy of 33, I think. Where is it? So 33 millimeters. So that's around about 16.5 millimeters per side. Okay, which will have to be sorted out by getting the fender flares. Okay, but in length, I can shorten this body because this is an adjustable body. I can also adjust the bull bars and the rear bar to come in a little bit more. I know the posts have to come off. But if I have to look at the width here, I might not even have to do much modifying to the actual receiver box placement. I mean, I could probably get away with that and just stretch this out a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. The interior of this vehicle, because I am actually tinting the windows, guys, and I don't want it to be a complicated build, I want it to be as simple as possible. For the foreseeable future, I'm not going to be buying any opening hinges for it, so everything will remain shut. That includes the engine bay and the doors, which you can buy hinges for them so they will open if you want to showcase, say, a faux engine in there or an interior, in which case for me, I'm not going to be putting an interior in there because I want to keep it as light as possible. So it is a scale build, but at the same time, not so scale. I'm going to be tinting the windows with real film, just like I did with my X-Cub, and I reckon that will set it off with the body color that I'll be putting on this. Now, as you guys know, I don't really keep secrets that much from you guys, so what I will do is tell you the options that I have. So option number one, and I think I'm leaning more towards this color, everything on this vehicle will be black. Okay, so I've always wanted a black Land Cruiser, and there's not many black ones on the internet in the killer body form. There's a couple there, but they're all two-tone, but I haven't seen one that's in absolute black. Okay, so what I mean black is the black tinted windows, and I'm imagining this in real life as well because it's actually my dream vehicle. So black tinted windows, black cab, black tray back or style side body. The chrome, I'm debating whether I should leave them chrome or actually paint them black as well. We'll see. But definitely the wheels will be black because I'll be using these wheels here that for now are just and have just been a waste. But these will actually suit this just fine because these are thinner. These are thinner than the Proline wheels and tires that I've got. Okay, they're still 1.9 inch, but they are thinner. And they will suit this body to a T. Okay, so that will be something I'll be doing that, but I'll be also painting them black because they do actually come in black in real life. The bull bar's already black. The back bumper is already black, so black tint, black everything. Okay, and it'll just be a stealth build. So I'm leaning towards that, or the other way is I can do it the tradie way. We call them tradies in Australia, but the tradesman way, which means either keep it white and just put clear coat on it to make it a little bit shinier, to make it pop, or put the cab in silver, okay, Toyota silver, and then have the cab chassis part of it in dark grey, which is another version that we've got here that actually exists. So here in Australia, if you buy a Fleet Trades tray from Fleet Trades, here in Melbourne, they will actually, most of the time, a Fleet Trades heavy duty tray comes in dark grey. Okay, so a lot of the times, whether your body is white, the tray back will be dark grey. Now I've got two body forms at the back. I've got the pickup body form, which more than likely, that'll have to be obviously the colour of the front, but I can interswap between that and also the optional one, which I did buy, which is the tray back. Okay, so this one here, if I kept this silver or white, I can actually paint this in the Fleet Trades colour, which is the dark grey charcoal, and I can put that there. Okay, so, or I can make it all black. So we'll see how that goes. But I like the look of the actual picture on this one, including the hoop at the back and also these ones here, because then you can put the tonneau cover. All right, so that's an option, or the option in, so option 1 is to have that as it is. Option 2 will be put a tonneau cover here. Option 3 will be take the sides off and then just leave it flat. Right, so there's a lot of options that I can do. So that is an optional part there, guys, just to let you know. It is the upgrade part for the 110 body, which is the tray back. Okay, but what comes out of the box, more importantly for you guys that want to know, you get the front, you get the tub, you get the interior and the snorkel interior bits of the steering wheel, you get the what it's called, the pickup door. Okay, you get that. You get the chrome bits, which is the lighting system, so the reflecting lighting system, and also the grille, which is chrome already. You get the lights, which are painted already. You know that they're very hard to paint for you guys that build these things, so thank you to Killer Body for painting them already. And then you get the grey bumpers, which are obviously scale as well, if you use them. Okay. Then you get the cockpit, which, by the way, this is available in left and right hand drive. Okay, so for those of you who want to have a crawler that depicts an Australian version, you can have, or Japanese version, which is made in Japan, the real car. Obviously, you can have right hand drive, and then the doors and the bonnet or hood. Okay, so apologies once again, guys, for this video being so long, but as I was stating before, it is something that, it is a new project, and at the end of this build, okay, because I'm only keeping one of these. That's the thing, I'm only keeping one of them. Whether I like the Land Rover body enough to keep this, or whether I like this better and I keep that. One of these will be sold and auctioned out. They will be auctioned on eBay. Right, so this one here will be auctioned on eBay as you see it, is actually how it will be. It's complete with the lights from Traxxas. Okay, this will actually have lights as well, but I will not keep two bodies. Eventually I will sell them. After this is all finished, I will be selling one of them and they will be auctioned. Okay, so I will conclude this video here, guys, but there's another version of it there, as you can see, and as you can see clearly, it is a scale vehicle. So that's on a TRX4 chassis as well. So they do fit on a TRX4, but that is, if I had to guess, the TRX4 specific body. Mine is not the TRX4 specific body. Now, I guess I did that purposely as well because I did want a challenge, but because Killer Body have been so laxed and so uncommunicative with me, they haven't communicated with me as to the questions I've asked them. They have not responded or replied yet, and I've done every method of contacting them. Tried to call them, busy. I've tried to email them, no response, and I've tried to send them an MMS message, which if you look at the back of their box, it's got the details at the box, on the back of the box there, which I've tried every method of contacting them in the last 5 days, nothing out of them. So I guess the question I wanted to ask them was, even though mine is a TRX4 and the body I bought off you guys is not a TRX4 specific body, will it still fit? If it does, what do I have to do to modify it? And what is the difference between the TRX4 specific LC70 from Killer Body and the non-TRX4 specific LC70 from Killer Body? So just simple questions. They haven't answered me back yet. So I'm hoping that they will. I know I need the mounting brackets for them, which again, they come from the United States. There's none in Australia, and The nearest one I can get is 12,000 kilometers away in Los Angeles. So I'll have to probably buy that. But the other thing is I can probably make them as well. So I'll try and make them first. If that doesn't work out, I'll have to buy them. So thank you for joining me on this lazy Sunday afternoon, guys, here in Australia. Worldwide, I do thank you all for joining me on my videos. Please stay safe and keep your distance, especially throughout this COVID period. And I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying your hobbies and your modeling. And now that we've got a little bit of time up our sleeves, I guess it is now time to spend time on ourselves and our families. More importantly, the families. Okay, so thank you for joining me once again. I do apologize for this video being so long, but I wanted to showcase this to you guys and also give you the plans that I'm planning on doing. I'll let you know what I'm planning on doing with this TRX4, as I'm enjoying it so much. And I'm hoping that I can see you again in the near future. So thanks for joining me, and until the next time, stay safe and keep out of trouble. Cheers.